Hi guys, my name is Barry and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to my video segment for the Scream franchise where we discuss why each victim were chosen, and we're moving on to Scream 2 in this one. Just before I begin, I just got these through the door. I thought you'd like to see them. Got little stickers sent through of, can you see that in the light? Of my Wolfman's Got Nards claw logo. If I send anyone anything, any merch or anything like that I send personally, not through my store, then I'll probably pop this in a little package for you guys. Pretty cool. Anyway, let's move on to Scream 2. So what I do is I talk about the motives behind the reasons that they're doing what they're doing, each killers, and then we talk about why each victim were chosen. In this one, we've got Nancy Loomis and Mickey Altieri. Now, Mickey's motive was similar to Stu, in my opinion, where he was a little bit crazy, and in this one, Mickey wanted to gain infamy. He didn't care if he was getting caught or not. He just wanted to be infamous and more famous than Billy and Stu. Whereas when you look at Nancy Loomis, her reason is similar to Billy because it's her son, and it's about a family revenge. Billy wanted to get revenge for his family breaking up, whereas Mrs. Loomis, aka Debbie Salt, she wanted to get revenge for the death of her son. Now, I can understand people wanting to get revenge for the death of their kid, because nobody wants to see their kid die, but her kid did die because he was a killer, so surely she would want to distance herself from that, but she didn't. I would have just kept the name Debbie Salt and lived on with my life, but obviously she had to have a motive, and I think her motive was a better one than Mickey's, because Mickey was a little bit crazy, just like Stu, whereas Billy's motive in the first one I thought was the best, and in this one, his mother, she also had the best motive. Phil Stevens is the first victim on the list, and he was chosen because of his name, Phil Stevens, same name as Stephen Orth, one of the victims in Scream 1, and we get a pattern throughout the film, not with every victim, but with some of the victims we get a pattern with the names, which I will explain. Maureen Evans is the next victim, the girlfriend of Phil. Now, Maureen's name is Maureen Evans, and it's because of Maureen Prescott that she was chosen. So luckily, Maureen and Phil were together so that both of them could die together. However, in the movie, it looks like Phil dies first and Maureen dies second. The next victim is Cece Cooper, aka Casey Cooper. So she was chosen because of her name as well. Now, we find out that obviously Casey Becker, Casey Cooper, etc. That's 3 victims already that share the name of victims.
Do you think someone's trying to duplicate Woodsboro?
It's also fun to note that Cece had a little altercation with Mickey in the film class, and he had a little look at her as if, I'm going to kill you.
You've got a hard on for Cameron.
Big one.
Next up, we've got Randy Meeks, and I feel like Randy died for 2 reasons. One, he was a survivor of the massacre from the first movie, so he was always going to be a target along with other survivors like Sydney, Gail, and Dewey. So when he died, I assumed it was because he was one of the survivors. However, we find out later on in the movie, and I'm sure you all know this anyway, that Nancy Loomis mentioned that Randy spoke ill of Billy, and it sounds like she was the one that wanted to kill him because he was talking ill of her son. So he died for 2 reasons. One, he was a survivor, and 2, he talked a lot of crap about Billy Loomis, and because she was the killer in that moment, then she wanted to get a little knife happy.
Randy spoke poorly of Billy, and I got a little knife happy.
Andrews and Richards are up next. Those 2 are the bodyguards of Sydney Prescott, and I'm sure this one is self-explanatory. They wanted to get to Sydney. The Ghostface killers want to get to Sydney, and with those 2 being in the way, then they're just cannon fodder. Hallie McDaniel is up next. Now, she seems like she's just cannon fodder as well, and she's just in the way, and that could be the case, but if you want to look into it a little bit deeper, then you would assume that the Ghostface killers wanted to get at Sydney before they go after Sydney and before they kill Sydney. So what better thing to do than to kill her best friend? It would also remind her of Tatum from the last film. It's also like a copycat. Even though Hallie doesn't share the name with Tatum, she shares that experience and that relationship with Sydney Prescott. So whether it be name or not, she was killed for a reason. The same goes with the last victim on the list, Derek Feldman. Derek is the boyfriend of Sydney Prescott, and throughout the film, we as the audience think that Derek could be a suspect, and Mickey and Nancy Loomis want that to be the case as well. Not just for us, but for Sydney Prescott. They wanted to put doubt in Sydney's mind. That's why they were killing in the order, or they were killing at least the names of the victims that share the same victims as the first movie. So if Sydney finds out that these people are dying and they share some sort of relationship or name with the victims from the first film, then Sydney would put that doubt in her mind and think,
Boyfriend, killer, boyfriend, killer.
Sid, the man is lying!
maybe the killer is my boyfriend again, because that's what happened in the previous year. So it was quite smart that the killers chose the victims that they did, whether it be by name or by relationship. When I look back in Scream 2 and the motives behind the killings in this film, I feel like they're more thought out than the first one. Obviously, the first one, we didn't know there was going to be sequels, and neither did Wes Craven. But when you look back and you think about the motives and the reasons why each victim were chosen, Scream 2 was very smart with that, especially with the first 3 kills, when they shared the name or a similar name to the victims in the first movie, because it made us think that that was going to continue on throughout the film, but it didn't. However, it shared the relationships with the victims as well. So I think each victim in this one, apart from Andrews and Richards, who were the bodyguards, they were just in the way. Everyone else was specifically chosen, and it was quite smart. So what are your thoughts on that, guys? Do you share the same thinking as me, that the victims chosen in this one were more thought out? Or do you think the victims chosen in the first one were probably better? Everyone's got their own opinion, but leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think of that. Also, let me know what you think, what victim you think was the best chosen one, not through the kill, but the reason that they were chosen, and leave that opinion down below. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching again. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!